Hey class. Unfortunately, so I'm not able to be here today, and I'm sorry. I just I do not feel good. I need to just take a day. But I don't want us to lose a day because again, we only have like 3 weeks until the end of the school year, and we still have to we have to wrap up this unit. So I wanted to share with you the end product for today, as well as some of the requirements. So this is this student sample that's attached to this week's assignment. And first, if you haven't, you should pause this video and go to this week's assignment in Classroom, the one that has this week's date on it. I'll wait. All right, I'm done waiting. So you're going to create just like the exam. Basically, you're going to complete the working bibliography, just like the example here, using the template that you're given in this week's assignment. So I want you to write your research question here. And I really want you to pay close attention to that research question. A lot of questions I saw focused on like, how do you do a thing? Or like, how do how does it feel to have a nice thing? That's not what we're talking about. Think more like a hypothesis in science, right? This one says, how does music affect adolescents' mental state? So it restricts it to one group. If we wanted, we could restrict it to one genre of music. We could say, how does metal music affect adolescents' mental state? And it starts with the word how, right? Then I want you to write some possible sub questions. The purpose of these is to kind of break your question into different ones. So I started with, what is teenagers' current mental state? If you feel like I felt at 16, it was anxiety and rage. In what ways does music change that? And what ways does music change that? And do different types of music do different things? Maybe I want to say have different effects on mood. Right, and I could add a couple more, but I'm going to start with those three. Now, we're going to do a little research, okay? What a working bibliography is, and this is a thing you guys may not have done before. A working bibliography is the sources, right? The cited sources that you're going to use, cited correctly. So you'll see this has the author's last name. This has the title of the article, the website or organization it came from, and the year that it was published on it. Another thing that perfect. Some of them will have, like when you grab one from Gale, it'll say the database it comes from, have a direct link, and the date it was accessed as well. So that's what's important. We're going to use Gale's opposing viewpoints in context. We used this last semester, but I just want to really quick go through how to research. So first, I want you to click on, highlight the card number and copy it. It'll make this next part easier. Then go to opposing viewpoints. It might take a second, but it'll open up to the library card page. I want you to paste the card number in there. The pin is 1234. Do not try your birth year. That's not it. It's 1234. And it'll open this up. Now, here's what I like to do. I like to look at my question and pick out keywords in that question. So I'm really focused on music. I'm focused on adolescence, and I'm focused on mental state, right? And another word for that might be mood, which is what I use down here. So with these kinds of databases, they will give you better information than Google allows you to get, but you can't just type in your whole question. So what you have to do is pick the keywords in your question. So take a second, pause the video now, and bold the keywords in your question. So really, the most important people, places, and things. Now, go to advanced search and just plug those in for keywords. So I'm looking for mood, music, and adolescence. Perfect. Then hit search. And let's see what comes up. So opposing viewpoints is kind of cool. It filters stuff by results. So I have videos, adolescents of self-harm. Wow, they don't mess around. Here we go. New music psychology, findings from University of don't know where that is, described sad music depresses sad adolescents. Well, that's about perfect. Music linked to adolescent depression. Okay. Mellencamp's mood is mellower. He added a bit of techno sound to his presentation. I'm not really sure what that's talking about. The goals and effects of music listening and the relationship to the strength of music preferences. Interesting. Adolescent lifestyle and behavior, a survey from another country. That's good because my question doesn't. So notice here how I got a small number of results. Perfect. Okay. If you have, or if you do something like this, I'm going to go back for a second. If you just search music, you're going to get a lot of results. Notice here, this has about a third of a million results, right? We're not really going to do that. We're going to search for mood adolescent. Whoops. Music. So if you get too few results, like you're not getting what you want to look for, wow, now I got a different one. That's weird. Critics pick. Okay, whatever. And there are all sorts of topics you can choose here. So let's go with music linked to adolescent depression. Oh, the difference here is I typed in adolescent. Here's a couple things that you should look for. Music. So all we're doing now is I want you to take neat looking articles, click cite, and you'll see that it cites it correctly. So you can click select, copy, and then you can just go ahead and paste it in there. All right. Then what you should do is go back to Gale and like pause, find an article and do that, then return to this video. Then you can go back to Gale, and if you click on Get Link, you can copy the link here, go back to the other one. You can highlight the whole thing, right click and click link, then paste the link there. That way, whenever you go back to this, it will show you that exact same article. This way, you don't have to go and look for stuff that you've already found. All right, what I want you to do first is go find as many articles as you can. Here's a tip. If you find the first one and you're like, oh, that's what I'm looking for, look here for more like this and view related articles. Here's another one. You can search, click on related subjects, mental health. Then over here, there's a search within button. So these are only articles about mental health. You can search for the word music, hit submit. That'll limit your searches more. Then you can search within adolescence. Now it's limiting it. So notice how we're getting different results based on how we search. This gives you finding good mental health for children, help for our stressed out teens, the state of mental. Okay, so these are starting to get interesting to me. Interesting. You will also find articles that aren't perfectly connected, right? You'll find articles that are attached, like they're kind of tangential, but they're not perfect. So read through the first and then read the last paragraph. If it seems to fit, go for it. This is interesting. Join the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration and more than 130 agencies in celebrating the 7th annual day. This year, the national event focused on youth who had experienced a traumatic event and caring adults who helped them. Now, go to the last one. Across the country, celebrated this annual, marking the day with community events, dance, music, and visual. Interesting. So this is talking a little bit about how music is attached. So yeah, so I might save this. That'll work. So I would hit cite, copy the citation, and then I would put that right there. Then again, you can just grab this link here, copy the link, and then make this a hyperlink. The purpose for doing this is it gets really easy to find things, and it gets really easy to find things again when it's time to read through them in more detail. We're going to do that next week. So pause that, find like 5 articles, and then come back. At least 3 of them have to be on Gale. Okay. If you want to go on the open internet, you can do that, but you need to cite them correctly. Okay. Or focus on, use Gale. It just does it for you. It's easier. Now pause, do that now. Perfect. All right. For each entry, I do want you to write a 1-sentence summary and 1 sentence about how it might relate to your question. So the easiest way to do that is look at these examples. This is just 1-sentence summary of the article, and it might be 3 or 4 lines. Like you could write longer sentences. That goes true for a lot of you. Music can be used as a cure to reduce stress. This is a typo I used to students. It was found that listening to music was more effective than prescription drugs. Okay, so that's a summary of the article. Then how it relates to your topic. In other words, how does it relate to one of these questions? It doesn't have to answer it fully, but you can say like it raises this perspective, or it shows this possibility, or it defines a word that's important. All of those would be good reasons to drop an article, to cite an article in here. Okay. By the end of class today, you should have 7 articles, at least 7 articles. This person has more. You should have bare minimum 7 articles, and each one should be cited correctly, linked, and have these 2 sentences that'll help you next week when it's time to take a look and read. All right. Like I said, I'm sick today. I'm not checking my emails. But if you use this video and do what it says, I know that you can be successful. And if you need a refresher, just watch the video again. Thanks, guys. Good luck.